Hi, I'm Evanschwartz with Rockwell Collins. This is our Proline Fusion integrated avionics system for the King Air. You have a before and after picture here in look and feel. So if you have a King Air with our Proline 2 generation avionics, a lot of those airplanes built in the 1990s and early 2000s, you now have the option to convert your flight deck with our Proline Fusion displays. It brings a whole lot of new capability and a great deal of ease of use for the airplane. In front of you now are the primary flight display, the PFD, and the multifunction display, the MFD. These are 14-inch displays, which are the largest available for the King Air, and the upgrade brings 3 of them, which really gives the flight deck an all glass all the way across look and feel to modernize the airplane. The PFD and the MFD themselves are touchscreen displays. The idea behind that and the design is to keep the pilot's head up and the eyes forward where the critical flight information is that they need to manage the flight path and the energy of the airplane. We'll show you a couple of ways that touchscreen works. You can set up the PFD either in a full screen like was there, or you can split the PFD into multiple windows where you can have a chart, for example, on the right-hand side with synthetic vision on the left-hand side, and then within any window the display itself is touchscreen. So in this case, you want to get a preview of an instrument approach. You can do that just by using familiar icon-based interfaces and touchscreen gestures that people are used to from tablets and other smartphone devices. This chart is split into a dual mode right now, where you have the plan view on top and the profile view on the bottom. Very common setup for an instrument approach would be to have SVS on that side, a chart over on the right hand side, and then depending on where you are in approach, if you're in the briefing phase, you can keep your briefing strip visible while you have the plan view there. That's the split chart capability. I'm using the icons in the touchscreen interface to set up the display. If you wanted to have a map there instead of a chart, you can put a high-resolution terrain map right there on the PFD as well. The toolbar at the bottom here, these are functions that control whatever is on the screen. And so we have a map. We have the ability to turn features and symbols on and off the map. We have preset themes for different phases of flight, where you can turn terrain on and off, turn symbols like airways that are on there now on and off. It really gives you a great deal of control, all using very simple, easy to use controls. Most of the time, pilots are going to fly with a full screen synthetic vision and or split with the chart on the right hand side. Moving over to the center display, the MFD, right now we have a full screen map on this display. It's a very interactive map, just like works a lot like a map on a tablet, a consumer app. You can drag the map around to pan, look at different areas, have a preview of your flight plan, to see what's ahead on the route, whether it's weather or airspace that you're looking at. You can change the flight plan with the map. I'll show you that in just a moment, but the special use airspace and controlled airspace are interactive objects on the map. They're touch screen, so if you wanted to look at that special use airspace area and see the ceiling, the floor, the controlling agency, all that information is built within the system. But what's powerful about it is it gives pilots easy access to it. It's like a military operations area. You just press the MOA on the screen, and there's the information about who controls the MOA, its floor and ceiling. Bring a really powerful set of capabilities. Business jets ranging from Gulfstream's G280 and Bombardier's Global 5000 and 6000 have been delivering with Proline Fusion, our integrated avionics, various versions of it for a couple of years now, and we're really excited to be able to bring a touchscreen capable version with an intuitive icon-based interface into the aftermarket. So people that already have an airplane, a King Air, whether it's with our Proline 2 system or our Proline 21 system, now have the option to bring all of those powerful business jet capabilities right into the King Air. This is what I've just done there is graphical flight planning. So if you want to edit a flight plan, say enter a holding pattern at a particular waypoint, all you do is touch on the map, touch that waypoint. That brings up the options. One of the options is holding pattern, and I can enter a holding pattern just as simple as that by interacting with the map. And so that's inserted the holding pattern at that waypoint in the flight plan. It's really all about making it intuitive and easy to use for pilots. Zoom out and look at a view of the whole country and the whole world. And so this is a demo flight plan around the Rocky Mountains, designed to show how the system works in terrain-rich environments. It's We built safety features into every aspect of the system. We just had a traffic alert. If that comes back up, we'll show you that again. It's designed to notify. Here's another traffic alert we're going to have on the PFD. This is going to give the pilot a pitch cue indicating where to guide the pitch of the airplane. And there's the pitch cue. So this is telling the pilot to climb and pitch for 5 degrees pitch up to avoid that traffic alert. That's TCAS 2 that's built into the system, available as an option with the upgrade. So it's really an overall comprehensive transformation of the flight deck from ProLine 2. It reduces maintenance costs, it reduces operational costs by bringing LCD-based displays with LED backlights, and it brings a suite of capabilities that delivers as the standard on new business jets from the high end to the mid-sized jets, all for the King Air now.
So are there any fallback systems if the touch display fails?
Yeah, absolutely. Whether you're using the touchscreen displays like I've just shown you, or the automotive style controllers that are in the flight deck, the philosophy is the same, and that's to keep your eyes in your head as a pilot up and your focus forward on the main displays where your critical information is. So these controllers are designed to feel like the controls you'd find in a high-end car, and they do all the same things you can do with the touchscreen by just rotating an inner and an outer knob. They're designed to do that without you looking down at the controller. So you learn after just a few minutes in the airplane how to move the focus around the screen and control different aspects, and you can do that on the PFD or an MFD with this. And we also have a keyboard for pre-flight. If you're going to enter a flight plan pre-flight, there's a lot of ways to do that, but one of them is to use the keyboard that we provide in the cockpit. And that's about the only time you're going to be head down on the keyboard, and it's a QWERTY style keyboard, so we laid out the keys just like you'd find for a computer as opposed to traditionally in a flight deck A through Z. It makes it a little easier to use for people that are new to flying turbine airplanes. Let me show you how these work. I'll put the focus on the multifunction display by pressing the MFD key on this controller. And by rotating the outer knob, I can move the focus on the screen from one area to another, and that works just like if your hand was on the screen. It's called tabbing through it. So I can turn the window on and off as the progress of the flight. That way, I can change the overlays on the map to turn traffic and terrain on and off, moving the focus again with the controller. The same menu here that you'd use with the touchscreen to set up what information is on the display. You can do that here with the controller as well to bring up a chart. I'm just rotating the outer knob, pressing in on the whole knob, and it works very intuitively. It's designed to be used again without looking down at these devices. They're just fit in your hand and they're comfortable to fly while you're looking up at the screens. Again, touchscreen works as well. We've optimized the system to work either way, with touch or these physical controls.
Okay, so we're up in cruise now. Can you show me a typical setup for an instrument approach?
Sure. And with the windowing capability on these large displays, you really have a lot of flexibility. Here's a very common approach. You'd have on your PFD split into a combination of synthetic vision and an electronic chart. So I'm going to use the icons to select the chart and put the approach chart up on the PFD. Then over on the center display, probably go from a big map, especially if you're in lower weather conditions, and split this into a couple of different regions to keep the map. But we have an enhanced vision capability. Rockwell Collins makes an enhanced vision sensor that's available as an option with ProLine Fusion, and this is showing footage around the trade show floor where you and I are standing right now. But in an instrument approach, you'd have that camera on the nose of the airplane focused and looking through the weather ahead to orient the pilot with the runway, head down. And then the checklist is another important part of setting up for the approach. And so you can pull up an approach checklist right on the multifunction display. I'll just go with the takeoff one here because it's more quickly available. And you can use, again, either the touchscreen or the physical controllers to work through the checklist, all while you're tracking your progress on the approach chart, watching the surrounding terrain and airport and obstacles in the synthetic vision, and looking at the enhanced vision to see when you're going to see the runway and the runway environment through the weather. So the windowing capability really gives you a very nice ability to monitor everything you need to be monitoring on the airplane as you're entering the approach and landing phase.
So say I have a King Air 200. What do I need to do to get this installed on my aircraft and get up and running?
Well, I'll tell you, the market for King Air glass cockpit retrofits is really dynamic right now. There's a lot of interest because of the capabilities that glass cockpit retrofits bring to the airplane, and it involves airspace access and operational efficiency. It is really playing into the market value of the asset, your airplane asset as well. And so when we designed ProLine Fusion, we were very conscious of the price sensitivity in the marketplace and really designed this to be as economical as possible to install. And for example, one of the key design elements is, in many cases on these King Airs that this is available for, they were built originally with our avionics, our ProLine 2 avionics or our ProLine 21 avionics, and because of that we're able to reuse a lot of the system, like the autopilot and the radio sensors, which work perfectly well behind the scenes and don't need to change for the glass cockpit. So by saving those things and going with ProLine Fusion, you can completely transform your flight deck with large 14-inch displays, primary flight displays and multifunction displays all the way across, and keep the elements of the system that you already know, like your autopilot and your radio sensors. So the autopilot doesn't need to change, and that saves a lot of cost and downtime. The radios don't need to change. That also saves cost and downtime because these displays are compatible with the legacy Rockwell Collins equipment on the airplane. Okay, so you've seen the touch screens and we've seen the automotive style controls that go down in the pedestal of the King Air. What I'd like to show you here is quick access buttons. So some functions in the flight deck, we really found it important to give pilots immediate physical access to, like the direct to function. Also commonly used features on the screen like the chart. So we have a button that's labeled chart. And the pilots can learn by muscle memory where that is. And so it's very quick to just press one button and bring up the electronic chart on the display on the left hand side. If you want a full screen chart, you just press it twice. So I'll just press that same button again, and now I have a full screen, in this case the airport diagram. Map works the same way. So look at the map, press the button once and I've got a half map, press it again, and I've got a full screen map. That's designed for pilots that like to push buttons and are more physical and touchscreen oriented, and also provide immediacy of access for important functions. This is a look at the flight management system, we call the fly page. Just to pull up the fly page, this is where you can track numerically the progress of your flight and distance and time to waypoints and fuel at the end of your flight. So we've got a gas pump symbol that's in yellow here because we may be in this simulation running into a low fuel situation later in the flight. So these physical buttons are designed to provide quick access to everything you need. Here's the checklist. Important to be able to bring that up right away in a case of an abnormal procedure like we have here. Again, it's really designed to be a hybrid of touchscreen and physical controls to keep the pilot's head up and eyes forward.